At exactly 12:17 p.m., during the lunch rush, a bank manager stared at a black man standing calmly at her counter and decided he didn't look like money. Minutes later, she ripped a multi-million-dollar check in half, accused him of fraud, and ordered security to drag him out, while a room full of witnesses watched in silence. What she didn't know was this: the single word spoken next by her superior would end her career, expose an entire institution, and prove that respect given late is just regret wearing a mask. The decision was instant. The moment he stepped inside, she had already judged him. The afternoon rush had wrapped the luxury corridor in quiet arrogance. Inside Aurum Atelier, customers moved slowly, confidently, attended to without effort. Laughter was low. Approval was silent but visible. Then Evan Mercer walked in, and the rhythm shifted. From behind the counter, Lauren Whitfield, the store manager, locked onto him. Her posture changed. Her smile disappeared. She leaned toward an associate and whispered sharply, eyes never leaving Evan, "Watch him." Evan noticed everything: how quickly service paused around him, how staff who moments earlier hovered near other customers suddenly found urgent tasks elsewhere. He didn't rush. He didn't touch anything. He observed. Lauren approached, planting herself directly in his path. "Can I help you find something more appropriate?" Her tone was polished, her meaning unmistakable. "I'm browsing," Evan replied calmly. She let out a small laugh meant to humiliate. "This section is reserved." "Reserved for whom?" Evan asked. "For serious buyers," she said, glancing him up and down. "Not tourists." A few customers turned. Phones shifted in hands. Evan gestured lightly toward the displays. "Is that store policy?" Lauren's lips tightened. "Policy is protecting the business from risk." "Risk of what?" She stepped closer. "People pretending." Evan nodded slowly. "I'd like to speak to whoever oversees this store." "I do," Lauren snapped. "And I don't appreciate being challenged." She turned sharply. "Security!" The guard approached hesitantly. "What's going on?" "Suspicious behavior," Lauren announced loudly. "He's been lingering." "I'm standing," Evan said evenly. "And I haven't asked for help." Lauren ignored him. "Empty your pockets." The air froze. "That's unnecessary," the guard muttered. "I decide what's necessary," Lauren said, raising her voice. "Now." Every phone came up. Evan looked around. An elderly couple watched in disbelief. A young woman near the entrance was already recording openly. Evan slowly placed his personal items on the counter. Lauren examined them theatrically, holding each up as if searching for validation. "These prove nothing," she scoffed. "Anyone can fake success." She pointed to a chair positioned deliberately in the center of the store. "Sit. Don't move." Evan sat. Lauren turned to the room, addressing an invisible jury. "This is why standards matter. We don't let just anyone walk in here acting entitled." An associate tried to speak. "Lauren, please!" "Stay out of it," Lauren snapped. "I've handled this before." Evan stood slowly. "I'll remember this moment." Lauren smiled, satisfied. "Good, because you won't be welcome back." Evan walked out as cameras followed. In the corridor he stopped, steady and silent, then made 3 calls. One to legal, one to operations, one to compliance. He asked for footage, timestamps, employee histories, and prior complaints. He asked for the lease file. That evening reports arrived. Patterns, names, silence rewarded with promotions, behavior dismissed as judgment calls. Evan read without expression. He knew cruelty survived only because no one forced it into the light. By morning, Aurum Atelier received a directive, mandatory compliance review. All employees required to attend. Lauren arrived confident. She rehearsed her explanation, convinced she would be praised for protecting the brand. The meeting room filled with unfamiliar faces, executives, attorneys, observers. Cameras lined the back wall. Evan entered last. Lauren's smile cracked. "Good morning," Evan said calmly. "I'm Evan Mercer, principal owner of Mercer Holdings." The room went silent. "Yesterday," Evan continued, "I entered this store as a customer. I was accused, searched, publicly seated, and expelled." Footage played. Every command, every smirk, every raised voice. Lauren whispered, "I was protecting the store." "From what?" Evan asked. "Risk," she said. "Define it." Silence answered. New slides appeared. Complaints, dates, witness statements. "You didn't misjudge," Evan said evenly. "You repeated." Security stepped forward. Different guards, neutral faces. "As of now," Evan said, "your employment is terminated for cause." Lauren collapsed into her chair. "This location enters immediate restructuring," Evan added. "Every policy reviewed, every complaint addressed. Oversight begins today." Applause broke out before quickly fading. Lauren was escorted out, her authority stripped in front of the same audience she once controlled. In the days that followed, statements were issued. Training replaced fear. Independent audits followed. Customers who witnessed the incident were contacted. Employees were protected for speaking up. Silence lost its protection. Weeks later, Orum Atelier reopened under new leadership. Evan returned quietly. No barriers, no suspicion. "Good afternoon," a staff member said sincerely. "How may we assist you?" Evan nodded once and walked on. Because dignity is not granted after recognition. It is owed from the beginning. Shocked by that ending? Like and share this story so it reaches people who need to see it. Comment where you're watching from and what moment hit you hardest. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories where dignity wins, abuse of power is exposed, and silence is finally broken.